Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Florida.
The Marlins are back in Miami to face the Braves for a 4-game divisional battle. Ronald Acuna Jr. leads the young, powerful Atlanta offense into Marlins Park. The Braves currently sit atop the NL East, and they're proving that age is just a number. Dynamic lefty Caleb Smith and the Marlins are hungry for a win after a tough 3-game series in the Windy City. Braves, Marlins, next on Fox Sports Florida. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to South Florida. The Marlins return home for a 7-game homestand. They open up a 4-game series against the Atlanta Braves tonight. The first-place Atlanta Braves. Yeah, Freddie Gonzalez used to manage in Atlanta. How about Miguel Rojas? Had a home run the other day, but there are a lot of bats in this lineup to be aware of for Martin Prado and the rest of the Marlins as they look to make up a little bit of ground in the National League East while the first base Bravos are in town. Hi, everybody. Paul Severino and Todd Hollandsworth with you inside the broadcast booth. So it is very simple. This team, the Braves, they can pitch. They had a long scoreless streak, and they can also hit the ball pretty well, simply put.
Well, it's going to be a great challenge. That's the way I look at tonight. Caleb Smith has been, well, I'll say it, the best left-hander in the game of late. He has been dominant, 14 consecutive scoreless innings, eating up lefties and righties, going up against the team that's the best against lefties. So I'm kind of excited to see tonight's matchup. It'll be a good challenge.
They are a young club, and they are led by this youngster right here. 16 hits, 5 doubles, 3 homers. This guy's been in the major leagues for like 20 minutes.
But who didn't see it coming, right? Even the Braves fans knew this young man could get it done. Major League Baseball's top prospect finds himself in the big leagues. Acuna Jr. getting it done out of the 2 spot. Boy, he's got some really good hitters around him. Gets him a lot of fastballs to hit.
He does, like that guy right there in the cage. Ozzie Albies, top of the lineup, and boy, can he create some problems for opponents, especially in the first inning, something that we'll be sure to discuss. So the Atlanta Braves, again, loaded with some young star power, no question about that, but the Marlins have a youngster as well, Brian Anderson, who's coming off a nice little series in Chicago.
Well, a nice road trip altogether. Brian Anderson really starting to heat up once again. Think about how he finds his success, the middle of the field, and then once that opens up, he starts to work line to line. He did that on the road trip. I'm real excited for Brian Anderson. Looks like he turned the corner, that little slump that he was in, starting to really produce in the middle of the Marlins lineup.
Well, they would like some more of that. There is no question about it, as this team would like to bounce back from what was a rough series against the Chicago Cubs, coming off of a sweep. Want to get back in the win column, and you know what? They've got the right guy to do that in Caleb Smith. For more, we'll send it back out to the guys after the break. Welcome back.
Welcome back here to Marlins Park as we get ready for game number 1 of this 4-game series. Paul and Holly have the call coming up in just a few moments. Let's talk a little bit about Caleb Smith here, Jeff Nelson. He's been great his last 3 starts. He's kind of turned around this young season for himself and helped the ball club also turn around their tough start.
He has, 26 strikeouts and only 2 walks in his last 3 starts. Only 2 runs in 18 2/3. Todd mentioned how nasty he is against right-handed hitters and left-handed hitters. How about righties hitting 174 and lefties 205 opponent's batting average. These are his last 2 starts. You see the 0.00 ERA, no runs scored in 12 2/3 innings of 5 hits, 2 walks. That's what he needs to do tonight. Limit the free passes. If you limit that, he has great success. Plus, he loves pitching at home. 2.08 ERA at home. You know, he's been outstanding, so the confidence level's through the roof. Let's see him duplicate those last 3 starts.
What about Mike Fultonevich? The Marlins will face him. It'll be his 8th start. You see his career numbers very good. He's had walk problems against the rest of baseball, but not the Marlins.
No.
Can that change tonight?
Well, I mean, that's what I think the Marlins hitters need to do, be a little patient. And when he gets in trouble is when he is walking, guys. 17 walks in 37 innings. Listen, he's got a big-time fastball, mid to upper 90s, nasty slider. He's 26 years old, and do the Braves really have a true ace? Probably not, but you know what? He's probably a front-line starter. He's got stuff to be a front-line starter.
An Astros first-round pick in the 2010 draft, Fultonevich against Caleb Smith. Game 1 of this 4-game series coming up on Fox Sports Florida.
Sports Florida is brought to you by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. By Chevrolet, see your South Florida dealer today. The Lincoln Spring Sales Event, drive into spring in a new Lincoln. And by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota, let's go places. Beautiful night here in South Florida. First of 4 between the Braves and the Marlins. These 2 teams currently at the top and the bottom of the National League East. The Braves have gotten off to a terrific start in 2018, so it's up to Caleb Smith to try to slow these guys down. You can go up and down 30 lineups in the big leagues and be hard-pressed to find a better 1 through 4, at least to this point, in 2018 than Albies, Acuna Jr., Freeman, and Markakis. And those are not, frankly, those are not the only weapons in that lineup. So, suffice to say, hands will be full over the course of this 4-game series, beginning tonight with Caleb Smith.
Yeah, Caleb Smith making his 8th start of the season. The numbers continue to impress. Last 3 starts, .96 ERA. How about a whip of .48? Batting average against 113. My goodness, you heard Nelly talking about the strikeout to walk ratio, 26-2, 13-1. That's off the charts. 14 2/3 scoreless, consecutive scoreless streak going on. He's got that going on right now. Coming off a great start against the Reds. How about this? Hasn't faced the Braves before. I talk about that an awful lot. That first time through the lineup, you maintain an advantage against the hitters. So we'll see if he's got that going. But he is going to have to be good quick, because this Atlanta Braves offense loves to try and erupt early in ball games.
They try, and they do. They, in fact, lead Major League Baseball with 36 first-inning runs, and that is thanks in large part to the man who is about to dig in a moment, Ozzie Albies.
Well, yeah, you better get it in quick, right? So they played 35 games. What does this tell you about Albies? He's 17 for 35. He's not walking. He's in the box. He's looking to hit.
There you go. He swings at the first pitch, but swings through it. 0-1 on the road trip for the Atlanta Braves through Tampa. 2 for 8, but currently on a 6-game hit streak. And here's the thing. While I know I made it sound like doomsday and that the Marlins have already lost 4 games against this superpower offense of the Braves, that's not what I'm saying. Caleb Smith has been, at least by the numbers, certainly his last 3 starts, the man in this rotation. And that's no disrespect to anyone else, but he has certainly figured things out.
Well, here's what we'll promise. The Marlins are going to be better now that they're home. I mean, their road ERA is 7.08. Their home ERA is 3.27. All right, here you go. Here's the Marlins defense, brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. Dietrich, Brinson, and Anderson is your outfield tonight. Prado, Rojas, Castro, and Bohr. JT Realmuto back behind home plate. Caleb Smith.
And while we showed Tim Wallach, the acting manager tonight, Don Mattingly had a death in the family, so he is attending the funeral. Our thoughts and wishes are with the skipper and his family. And Tim Wallach is, again, the skipper tonight. And Brian Schneider is going to be his bench coach.
Well, I mentioned the splits. The actual difference between the home ERA and the road ERA is actually bigger than their home ERA. Some pretty interesting numbers. 3.27 ERA here at Marlins Park. 7.08 on the road.
Well, that goes to the bigger conversation. This is a different team. We've seen it at times. They are a different team when they play here at Marlins Park. And I assume it starts with the pitching.
Well, you're not afraid to pitch to contact in this building.
But it was one of those road games that things really started to click for Caleb Smith. His start against the Milwaukee Brewers was the one that really kind of changed the course of his 2018 season to this point, as Albies continues to fight off pitches against Smith. It was that start that we keep going back to. It not only straightened him out, but it straightened out the starting rotation, as they, prior to the series against the Chicago Cubs, had won 4 straight series. The pitching was superb throughout, but he went 6 innings, struck out a career-high 10. And a called strike 3 retires Albies.
Well, it took 9 pitches. What a battle between Albies and Caleb Smith. Caleb Smith comes out on top. That low corner, well done. A few pitches at the top of the zone, caught just enough. Strikeout number 1.
Albies not in love with that call from home plate umpire Rob Drake, as Ronald Acuna Jr. fouls this one straight back. Sean Barber at first base, Mike Winters at second, Tim Timmons the umpire at third. So here is Ronald Acuna Jr., who is, again, these numbers are in 13 games. And of course there's more with the extra base hits, but since bursting on the scene, he has been all that it was cracked up to be for the Atlanta Braves. A guy who was not the Braves, but the minor league player of the year last year, according to Baseball America and USA Today.
Tremendous athlete. There's nothing he cannot do on a baseball field.
Yanks this one down the left field line, but it hooks foul.
Now you see the approaches both from Albies and Acuna Jr. They like to sell out a little bit more on their swings. High leg kicks, weight back to the backside and letting it go. Certainly speaks to the power that Albies has displayed this season. Acuna 3 home runs in 50 at-bats.
And there is back-to-back strikeouts, both looking 2 up, 2 down for Caleb Smith.
Now Caleb Smith goes to the slider. It has been a fantastic pitch during this run and really all season long for Caleb Smith. Get a load of this, Paul. Second lowest batting average against his slider, 111. That is second best in Major League Baseball.
And that one outside to Freddie Freeman, who has been a mainstay in this Braves lineup through all of their ups and downs the last few years. Certainly on an upswing here in 2018, as this one is sent in the air, left field side. Dietrich, a long run, out goes Prado, and it falls in between both.
Now this pop-up is about as much of no man's land as you're going to find and still have it hit the field surface. Dietrich, very long way to go. Same can be said for Prado. He was running with his back to the pop-up. Neither one able to get to the catch.
And Freeman laces one into right center field. That one is going to get down, cut off by Brian Anderson, and a nice job to keep Freeman at first.
Well done by the young right fielder. Brian Anderson on his horse. I thought this was a double ticketed for right center field. Nice job, good pursuit, good drop step and angle. Able to backhand the ball and get it back in with a strong throw. Hold Freeman to a single.
He's been working with Freddie Gonzalez the last 2 or 3 weeks on getting more comfortable. Freddie told me yesterday that if you just showed up to the ballpark, didn't know what the story was, and that he was a converted third baseman, you'd think he was an everyday right fielder, Brian Anderson. And he has certainly shown to be somewhat comfortable out there. I don't know if anybody's truly comfortable in their first 3 games at Wrigley Field out in right field, but that's beside the point. Generally speaking, he has been terrific. The Braves right fielder, Nick Markakis, takes inside. Ball on the strike.
Markakis hitting out of the 4th spot in the lineup, off to a fantastic start for the Braves. Guess what? He's hitting lefties, so pay attention throughout the series. 404. You say, why are the Braves got 2 lefties back to back in the lineup? Between Freeman and Markakis, outstanding numbers versus lefties.
Markakis, a home run in 8 at-bats in the short 2-game trip on the west coast of Florida for the Braves. They played a 2-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. They won both of those games. They have won 7 straight on the road. 1-2 pitch, and they've got him picked off as Freddie Freeman tagged out. They'll go down as a caught stealing. So Caleb Smith gets a couple of strikeouts, and the caught stealing will end the first. Marlins come to the plate when we come back. Todd Hollinsworth back with you. A couple of strikeouts and a caught stealing after the Freddie Freeman base hit. It's Caleb Smith out of the inning, so now the Marlins will get a chance here in the home half. JT Realmuto, Martin Prado, Starlin Castro in the top three. Justin Bohr with a couple of home runs on the road trip, as this team is back again for a 7-game homestand, 4 against the Braves, an off day, and then the Los Angeles Dodgers come to town. But it's Realmuto to start things off, as the Marlins want to get going again, get back in the saddle, back in the win column after going 2-4 on the road trip through Cincinnati and Wrigley Field. First pitch from Mike Foltynewicz is in there for a called strike. Foltynewicz making his 8th start of the season. He lost to the Giants his last time out. As Realmuto lines this one into the seats, quickly 0-2.
Well, you mentioned his last start, first of the season, 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 earned runs against the Giants. Pitch count was up near 100 through 5 innings. Lefty's hitting .213, righty's .262. Both sides of the plate have 2 home runs against him.
A 1-2 pitch from Foltynewicz is lofted out to center field. A soft little line drive for JT Realmuto to get things going here in the first.
Nice job staying on this breaking pitch. Up a little bit more. JT, short, compact swing, able to reach across the plate. Poke it into center field. Nice job keeping his weight back on the front side, off the front side. Front foot hits early on a breaking pitch. Traditionally, you're in your good spot. You can keep your hands back, your weight back, and still extend through the baseball, which he did there. It's the difference between tapping that ball to an infielder and lining it into center field. Go ahead and give you the AutoNation scouting report of Mike Foltynewicz for tonight's ball game. Familiar foe, no doubt about it, making his 8th career start against the Marlins. .419 ERA. 7 previous starts, but only his 2nd start here at Marlins Park. He's got big velo. We've seen the fastball already. 4-seamer, 96.75. That's a fastball. The sinker's even harder at 97, just over 97 miles an hour. So one of the best fastballs in the game of baseball, and that slippery slider. Batters are only hitting 104 versus the pitch. No home runs. In fact, 25 of his 43 strikeouts have come on the slider.
Prado out to right field. Markakis in to make the catch. And there is one away.
For the Braves for you in tonight's ball game, brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Centers. Cunha Jr. in left field, Inciarte in center. A couple of gold gloves. Markakis gets the start in right. Newly acquired Batista over at third base. Camargo, Albies, Freeman, Suzuki behind the plate for Foltynewicz.
A look there at Brian Snitker, the skipper. 2nd full season after taking over from Freddie Gonzalez on an interim basis back in 2016. A check on Realmuto, and this one goes down the right field line. He's going to take a turn and head towards third. Markakis finally picking it up, and Realmuto is going to get 2 free bases on that one. Got away from Freeman, went down the line, a long run for Markakis, and with the speed, he's there easily.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman, no shot at this. It's on Foltynewicz. Let's be honest, he missed by a mile. Freeman, not even an effort after the baseball, but when it gets down into the right field corner, Paul, you got no shot. I mean, this is some of the deepest outfield spots. You've got some of the deepest corners in all of baseball. It was an easy 2 bases for JT Realmuto.
So now Starlin Castro, 0 for 4 yesterday, 5 for 22 on the road trip. But one of those 5 included his 100th career home run. Couple of home runs, 7 RBIs in his career against the Atlanta Braves. An RBI opportunity here as he fouls another one straight back. Well, he seems to be on whatever Foltynewicz is offering. He's just missing it by a little bit.
And the thing that's so interesting is that his 4-seam fastball is very straight. Doesn't change lanes all that much. Where it comes out is where you see it. He has the velocity to go behind it. His sinker has more action.
Popped up right at the mound, and Freeman is going to navigate the hill. A basket catch for the second out.
Still able to get in Starlin Castro's kitchen just a bit. This not hit hard or far. Certainly ideal for an infielder to make any and all catches. You certainly don't want your pitchers looking up to the sky and catching a baseball if they don't have to.
But not an easy play running up the mound, not knowing exactly where it was. It wasn't like it was, you know, hit a mile high and he could park it on the mound. He had to track it down. Anyway, makes the play on that, and now it's Justin Bohr.
That'll be interesting to see. Fulton Average goes after Justin Bohr. 8 for 14, a couple of home runs. My goodness. Ironically, Bohr 6 two-out home runs this season.
It's tied for first in Major League Baseball with Chris Davis of the Oakland A's. The 6 two-out home runs. He takes upstairs. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Bohr and Nick Markakis, the only players in the National League to have at least 10 RBIs and 10 walks with 2 outs this season. So while it seems like everybody else's heart races a little bit more, a little bit faster with 2 outs, Bohr's able to slow it down. Nice play there behind the plate by Kurt Suzuki to keep it from going to the backstop. He almost went with it, by the way. 3-1 is in there on the edge, and the count runs full. Inside, ball 4, runners on the corners for Miami.
Well, after the numbers we ran out, too much of a surprise there. Certainly wanted no part of Justin Bohr.
So now it's Brian Anderson in an RBI situation. He has thrived in situations like this. 1 for 4. A run scored, a triple in yesterday's ball game. 7 for 22. It's a .318 average on the road trip. Takes upstairs, a ball and no strikes. Go back to April 20th. He's hitting a little over 300. 4 doubles, a triple, a home run, 8 RBIs in 18 games. This one is sent out toward right field. Markakis toward the line will put it away in foul ground. And that's going to do it for the first inning. Marlins leave a couple. We're scoreless. 4 against the Atlanta Braves here in Miami, and on the road, boy oh boy, have the Atlanta Braves been a really crisp ball club as of late. Well, overall, in fact, as they are in first place in the National League East coming into play. But our Toyota trend shows that a 7-game road win streak where they have outscored opponents 41-6. That's Philadelphia, that's the Mets, that's the Rays, and it's the longest road streak since they won 10 in a row back in 2009. So Brian Snitker has got to be happy with how his club has played away from SunTrust Park. As Nick Markakis back in the box. He was at the plate when Freddie Freeman was caught stealing to end the first.
Well, if you think it's an accident, I'd say think again. The Atlanta Braves are starting to really give people evidence of greatness throughout this year. Now, it's not just because they're in first place in the National League East. It's not just because of the batting average and the numbers or the great pitching numbers we could throw at you. There's things that really do stand out. They have the best record against the National League East. They've got 14 wins against this division. I say it time and time again. You want to know who's going to win your division? Peg the team that's cleaning up inside that division. You're going to play that division half the time. 14-7.
Even with the Philadelphia Phillies at the moment. As that one is over the glove of Miguel Rojas. A line drive base hit for Nick Markakis to begin the second.
I suppose we should not be surprised. I mentioned the numbers. 404 versus lefties coming into tonight's ball game. Doesn't try to do too much. We've seen him do throughout his, dare I say, illustrious career. He's had a real nice one. He's got a chance to do some really cool things if he keeps this up. Just over the outstretched glove of Rojas.
So Markakis on at first for Kurt Suzuki, who got 3 at-bats in the 2-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. 0 for 3. He fouls it straight back. 324 with 5 home runs and 15 RBIs over his last 20 games.
And we've seen a pretty regular theme through 5 hitters against Caleb Smith. This Atlanta Braves offense, Paul, is not waiting around. They're in there to swing the bats. They're not trying to figure out what Caleb Smith's doing. They want to attack and attack early. You and I were talking about this team. You know, we were flying back home last night from Chicago. There was one other thing that I thought was so interesting, and these are, when you talk about a team, how they've improved, some of the young guys. We've already thrown out so many of these offensive numbers. They've actually have struck out the least number of times in the National League.
Although maybe not tonight.
We shall see.
That is already the 3rd of the 4 outs recorded, and all 3 looking.
Yeah. The slider once again to one of his favorite spots, working its way to the inside corner against the righties. Frustrated Suzuki.
Caleb Smith came into this ball game 4th in the National League among starters, 7th in all of baseball, with a strikeout rate of just under 34%. Here is Ender Inciarte taking ball 1. Behind guys like Max Scherzer, Robbie Ray of the Diamondbacks, Patrick Corbin out there in Arizona as well. And here we are again, 4 outs recorded, 3 strikeouts. This one a line drive base hit right field. Markakis turns and heads toward 3rd, and on to 2nd goes Inciarte.
Now there is one vulnerable spot when you look at what Caleb Smith has done this year, and it's the ball up. Sometimes he'll miss at the top of the zone, whether it's a lefty or righty. That's actually where a couple of his highest batting average againsts are. That pitch just above the belt. Missed his location by just a bit. Inciarte heating up. Went into yesterday's ball game for 19. Picked up a couple of hits in Tampa.
Now Jose Bautista, a new Atlanta Brave, takes low and in. 3 for his last 16 in 5 games with the Braves after he made his debut on May 4th. Picked him up out of AAA Gwinnett. He signed a minor league deal in mid-April. Of course, you go back, originally a 20th round pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates back in 2000, but certainly made a name for himself with the Toronto Blue Jays. Now this power threat is ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
Caleb Smith being very careful here with powerful Bautista, certainly respecting his career and what he can do. We've seen a lot of common denominators here. Caleb Smith has never seen the Atlanta Braves before.
Is fouled right back.
This is the 4th consecutive left-handed starting pitcher the Braves have faced.
On the ground, this is Castro on the left side of the infield to get the out at first. An RBI for Bautista on the ground out, and it's 1-0 Atlanta. And over to third goes Inciarte. Now the intentional walk to Johan Camargo will set up a 1st and 3rd situation for the pitcher, Mike Foltynewicz. Well, the way that Caleb Smith has been pitching, and as successful as he has been, you could certainly make a case that it made sense to just go after guys. Go after Jose Bautista. But with a lighter hitting Camargo, as Foltynewicz fouls it back, would you have, in a 2-0 count at the time, would you have rather seen less in the zone?
Well, I think he would ideally try to get bad contact, which he did. I certainly understand why they're playing back. Listen, you don't give the Atlanta Braves, the highest scoring offense in the National League, more base runners. You're just playing with fire. I mean, this is not a knock on Caleb. He's been throwing the ball as well as anybody. But you have to respect the story of the Atlanta Braves right now. When you come in averaging 5.3 runs per game and you're handing out extra base runners, and you know that at some point all it takes is one Camargo hit, and next thing you know, the lineup rolls back over again. You got 3 guys on base. This thing could have got crazy quick. Yeah, I certainly understand going after Bautista and Foltynewicz more so than the other alternative.
And Real Muto applies the tag, and that will do it. A couple more strikeouts. That's 4 through 2, but it's 1-0 Braves. Batista has the Braves up 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning here at Marlins Park. Time for T-Mobile's Hats Off for Heroes. And today we focus in on Brad Ziegler, a supporter of Operation Shower, Pastime for Patriots, and Naval Special Warfare Family Foundation. Very involved, Brad Ziegler. Mike Fultonevich has a 1-0 lead to work with. Derek Dietrich, Miguel Rojas, and Lewis Brinson, the three batters scheduled to hit for the Marlins here in the bottom of the second inning. Fultonevich worked around a leadoff base hit from Real Muto in the first. Had a 2-out walk of Justin Bohr, but was able to strand both runners as his first pitch to Derek Dietrich misses low. Dietrich didn't play in yesterday's ball game. Was 4 for 14. It's a 286 clip with a run, a couple of doubles, an RBI on the road trip through Cincinnati and Chicago.
He's hit very well at Marlins Park this season, 282.
Dribbler to second. That's Albies for the first out. Come out to the ballpark and celebrate Cuban Heritage Night when the Marlins take on the Braves tomorrow night. Purchase a ticket package and receive an exclusive Cuban Heritage jersey. Visit marlins.com/Cuban today. Here is Miguel Rojas. 3 for 5 with a home run in yesterday's ball game in Chicago. That home run was his 5th of the season. He had but 4 home runs in his entire career. Today is May 10th. This one grounded to short. It's Camargo, and there are 2 away. By the way, Camargo is at shortstop because Dansby Swanson is on the disabled list. A little bit of a wrist injury. Could be able to come off early next week. In fact, we'll see a lot of the Braves in the next week or so. This 4-game series. Marlins have a day off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday against the Dodgers, and then to Atlanta to see the Braves. So a lot of Braves in a short amount of time. It's 0-1 to Lewis Brinson. He fouls it straight back. Brinson 1 for 4 yesterday. Had a home run on the road trip in Cincinnati. Couple of ground ball outs for the Marlins against Mike Fultonevich here in the second. And a strikeout, his first of the night. We head to the top of the third. Ozzie Albies will lead things off for the Braves when we come back to Marlins Park. Our Chevrolet Prospect Spotlight. We focus in on left fielder Zach Sullivan playing at A-ball with the Greensboro Grasshoppers. How about this? A 14-10 win. They got 2 touchdowns compared to the touchdown and the field goal. But 3 for 4, a couple of doubles, 5 RBIs. 14th round pick back in 2014. Zach Sullivan.
Congratulations to Zach. A big day. Always fun to have those days in the minor leagues. You feel like you get off to a good start. You start to roll. And when you're in the minor leagues, you've got a lot of times, obviously, when you're in AAA, that's not the case. You got the big leagues in front of you. But point being that you're working towards something.
Albies with a fly ball right field line, and that will bounce into the seats. 0-1.
The wind kind of played with this one just a bit. See Brian Anderson change lanes. A quick drop step there. It's a little bit of a windy night. Windows open as well. Kind of keep getting some gusts through here.
Yeah, breezy all day.
Well, no promises. Albies has been off to a fantastic start. We told you about the first inning where so much of the damage he's done this year has happened. Well, these are a nice little package of a lot of his home runs. Most of them have been in that first inning. How about 4 of them have actually been on the first pitch of the ball game?
Waste no time.
Now, you've got a Markakis and a Freeman behind you. I got to believe you're going to get a lot of fastballs early in a game. I think he thinks the same thing too.
This is a guy that started the season 2 for 20. Right, 2 for 20, rough start, just kind of slowly work your way back. It wasn't really all that slow as he lines that one into the seats down the right field line. 41 of his next 132. That's a 311 clip, but it was the damage that he had, right? The 22 extra base hits, the 13 doubles, the 9 home runs, all since April 3rd. The catalyst for this Braves lineup.
Well, if it's any consolation, gave you those leadoff numbers. The rest of the game, rest of the innings, 222. It does slow down a little bit.
That's the only inning that he is guaranteed to lead off. He is leading off this 3rd inning, so we'll see if the game plan is similar for Caleb Smith.
Well, I love the idea. I mean, the Atlanta Braves take 2 of their young prospects. You know, usually you think about breaking kids in, you try not to put too much pressure on them. They've got to be able to shoulder what you're giving them. As I mentioned, Ryan Snitker, he put a couple of great fastball hitters in front of some disciplined hitters in Markakis and Freeman, and you know, you've got a recipe for success. And who's denying what we've seen through the early going? First place in the National League East, and the offense is roaring.
And not just young players, like really young players. Albies is 21, and Ronald Acuna Jr. is the youngest player in Major League Baseball right now.
Well, I think there was I was a bit shocked, but certainly understood it. Caleb Smith, second pitch of the ball game was the slider, went right to it. Messing around.
On 9 pitches in the first at bat, 9 pitches in this at bat. As this one is out to right field, Anderson is able to haul that one in. So 18 pitches to Ozzie Albies, but most importantly, 2 outs.
Now for the Marlins, that is the case. Nice job by Brian Anderson taking control. Justin Bohr, you see that's right there. That's somebody else take it. That's the look you get from infielders. Where are you, right fielder? Here he is. He's coming. Starlin said the same thing. Not a whole lot of communication, just Brian Anderson getting into position. Outfielders got priority. He's coming towards the baseball. Infielders do not, as they are in pursuit.
That one off the edge to Ronald Acuna Jr., who struck out looking back in the first inning. Again, became the youngest player at 20 years, 141 days to homer in a 1-0 game. And that's the thing. He's not just in the big leagues at this age. He is making a strong impact in just a couple of weeks with the Atlanta Braves. Out of Venezuela. He played winter ball with Miguel Rojas. I guess he, as Miguel told me, wasn't on the team necessarily, but still came out to the batting practice and the practices. He said he's a special kid. This Acuna kid is a special kid. He said, I have no idea where this power comes from. I didn't see it, but all of a sudden, my oh my. All of baseball is seeing it right now. And that got Acuna's bat, I guess.
That is a foul ball. That's what you get. He hit the knob. Sure did. Knob of the bat.
And on the ground to Rojas. A strong throw and a close bang bang play at first to get Acuna. Well, you could see Rojas. He knows the speed of Acuna because he was up firing and a laser over to first.
Well, he has to move into position. You see it right there. Probably, maybe could have charged the ball maybe a step or two. It would have shortened the throw, but again, right at him. He certainly knows who's running, and he gets off a rocket across the diamond. Let's play it first.
Now Freddie Freeman, who singled into right center field back in the first inning, but was caught stealing to end things. Talking about all the youth at the top of the lineup with Albies and Acuna Jr. But you've got guys like Freeman and Markakis, and certainly now even Bautista, that are kind of bumping up the average age of this Braves team. As Freeman with another base hit. Sticks the bat out, sends it into center field. His second two-out hit of this ball game.
Well, he covers the plate well as anybody in the game. Long arms, a little bit of a small ball approach all the time. Chokes up on the bat, stands close to the plate. He's got big time power and big time plate coverage.
So on at first for Nick Markakis. Takes a called strike. Markakis singled and scored back in the second inning.
That second inning hit was the 2100. My goodness, how about that? That's a huge number. 2100 hits. There it was.
Right on the nose, huh?
Right on the nose. That's the most among active players not to make an all-star game.
Out to center field. Brinson lays out and he hauls it in. Lewis Brinson takes one away from Nick Markakis. That's out number 3 here in the third. the catch of the day, brought to you by Bonefish Grill.
Yeah, why not? Fantastic. Fantastic into the top of the third. Let's take another look. Got a great read on it. Good break. Good trajectory on the ball coming down. As it was coming down, able to get the glove down underneath it. Just try to brace yourself when you know you're going to dive forward.
So Caleb Smith will lead things off. 9, 1, and 2 due up for the Marlins. And go back to the second inning. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Fultonavich. He's got 2, and there's 1 away here in the third. So back to the top of the lineup for JT Realmuto. Single, but was stranded in the first inning. Overall, hitting .319 on the season. Was just 4 for 18 on the road trip. But he opens up the homestand with a knockback in the first.
Well, he likes facing the Atlanta Braves. Over his last 10 ball games, he's hitting .400. A couple of doubles, a triple, homer.
Well, we've talked so much about this offense for the Atlanta Braves. However, Fultonavich doesn't seem to be pitching on the right days, evidently. That one's outside, 2-1. Just 22 runs of support over his last 14 starts. That, of course, dates back to last year. Atlanta 2-12 as a team in those starts.
2-5 this year.
What's the answer there?
Sometimes it just happens. A lot of times it's matchups. I told you, it's kind of like Urania. I mean, again, Jose Urania had 9 road wins last year. 9 with an ERA near 4. Sometimes you peg matchups. Sometimes you kind of draw that guy.
Fultonavich settling in with now 3 consecutive strikeouts over the course of the last 2 innings. 2 away here in the third. Hey, Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by T-Mobile. Download the app and take Fox Sports Florida and the Marlins wherever you go.
Well, Fultonavich getting into a groove. Last 3 hitters, we've seen the elevated 4-seam fastball, and we've seen the slider low and away. That's what he likes to do to righties. He likes to elevate up with the 4-seamer, go off that outside corner, low and away with the slider. Actually elevated with Brinson and Realmuto.
Martin Prado popped up in the first inning. He takes upstairs, 2 balls and a strike. Prado is a career .290 hitter, but he is yet to really get going offensively. A little late to the party in 2018 as he was working his way back from some leg issues. He's played almost every day, save for a couple here or there since coming back. I think it's fair to say his value is not measured solely in batting average on this club either. Let's be fair. Two and two. Well, there's one, a base hit through the right side for Martin Prado.
We're going to bump him up to a
I think he wants the ball.
4-game hitting streak hits the Atlanta Braves. In the first 7 seasons of his career against the Atlanta Braves, he's a .295 hitter. Certainly knows the uniform. Good swing there. It's classic Prado. Pull the knob down and through. Shoot it hard the other way.
Starlin Castro swings and misses. Castro popped out to the first baseman Freddie Freeman back in the first inning. .40 hits for Castro this season. Entered the day tied for 9th in the National League. Shoots this one down the right field side, but it slices foul. And a nice catch by a Braves fan. Dealing with the railing right there, a snow cone. All right. The railing there is, I don't know, support, impediment. I don't know what it was, but either way, nice grab. Brado away from first, and that one is upstairs. 100 miles an hour from Fultonevich. Boy, he has been operating in the high 90s quite a bit today.
Yeah, that's what it is. Key number 1 in tonight's AutoNation scouting report. Pardon me, key number 2, the big velocity. You saw it. 97 miles an hour on average. Tops out at 100, 101.
Between Fultonevich, Soroka, a couple of guys that we'll see in this 4-game series for the Braves, as Castro able to check his swing. Apparently that's like barely the tip of the iceberg with the arms that the Braves have in their system, as Castro goes down looking to end the 3rd. 4th strikeout of the night. 1-0 Braves.
Mickey Callaway had his team batting out of order. We asked acting manager Tim Wallach tonight, what are the layers of protection for the Marlins?
There's at least 3 of us that check it every night. And you know what? It happens. Yeah. You see lineup changes, different lineups just about every night. So probably see it more over the last few years than you do over a 10-year period, just because of all the changes that happen now.
So in the Marlins case, they'll have several of the coaches will look at the lineup. What happened in the situation with the Mets was Callaway gave the reporters and the media one lineup and gave the umpires a different lineup, and that, what he says, cost them the ball game because they had a runner on second taken off the base, and the 3rd out of the inning created in the 1st inning wound up losing an extra innings 2-1 in Cincinnati. Guys,
Craig, thanks so much. Again, Tim Wallach, the acting manager tonight. Don Mattingly attending a family funeral. Again, our thoughts with the Mattingly family at this time. That's got to be one of the more, I guess, sinking feelings in a dugout when you either A, realize it, or B, get called on it.
Yeah, sometimes things change. I mean, that's the one time I've seen it happen in my lifetime, was where a player had to scratch himself after, take himself out of the lineup. after going out the stretch on the line and then coming back in saying, I can't go. And then the lineup changes, but not everybody's lineup changes. And then you've got miscommunication. You're like, wait a minute, what just happened? It's not always as simple. You know, it's funny. I asked Dusty Baker about this a few seasons ago. Doing the second. Nice job there.
That is the 5th strikeout.
Slider at the top of the zone. Take another look. It's been a big pitch for him tonight. Sometimes bad can be good. This is a bit of a hanger. High enough to get the strikeout. You know, Dusty would a lot of times with our bench players, like he would take us. If you were getting a start that day, you would take the spot of the guy that you were replacing. And I asked him about that, and it was a lot of times for keeping things as simple as possible as far as reshaping the lineup. And you're right, today's day and age, because so many players play.
Right.
You've got, you know, we talked about this many times. You know, you've got 5, 6, 7 guys on your team that are getting 350 at bats. Not the 8 start every day all season long, and then your backups get a few starts here and there. But Dusty used to do that, and I asked him why, and that was the #1 reason he gave me, was for simplicity's sake, so that we didn't mess it up. Meaning, if I was going to play, say in Chicago, I was going to play for Sammy Sosa that day, I would be hitting in the 3rd spot. If I was going to play for Moises Alou, who I backed up, I would have been hitting 4th. A lot of times what happens is one guy comes out and the whole lineup has to be rewritten.
Right, right. A ball and a strike to Ender Inciarte. The Braves have not truly been in love with the strike zone for Rob Drake today. Pitches are close. You can certainly hear guys in their frustrations. That one certainly inside.
I think he's been pretty fair.
I would agree.
His strike zone hasn't changed for either pitcher. I think what it is, more than anything, is what we've started to find out about Caleb Smith and talking to the hitters that go up against him. He's an uncomfortable at bat. He's not that 92, 93 blows your door, you know, blows your doors down. The idea is that he's really tough to pick up, and you see a lot of late swings. What do we got on Albies right now? How many foul balls? 11 foul balls. I mean, that's a huge number. Now, kind of throws uphill just a little bit. See how he tucks that front shoulder, kind of gets out and around it, and then up that hill. As a hitter, you don't pick up the baseball until it comes back down.
Ciarte out to center field. Brinson drifting into left center, and there are 2 away.
Let's take another look. See that front side? See how you can almost see it. It's like 6 or 7 inches maybe off. He's not 50-50. That back shoulder ends up down, the front shoulder a little higher, and then he has to throw back. He's got to get back to even. So it's up and over the top. Let me give you the evidence. On pitches down the middle of the plate this year against Caleb Smith, hitters are hitting 056.
Like right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
On a tee.
Thigh high down the middle of the plate. 056.
Where your mouth waters to see it.
Where you put up the tee to practice. You say, I'm going to hit off the tee today. I'm going to work on my swing. I put it right down the middle of the plate, thigh high.
And their batting average is?
056.
Huh. A 1-1 now to Bautista. Little upstairs, 2-1.
Well, that's a guy that's clearly hard to pick up.
He has 5 strikeouts through the first 3 2/3 innings tonight. And no swing for Bautista, 3-1. So 7 strikeouts in his last start against the Cincinnati Reds, 9 in the start prior to that against the Colorado Rockies, a career best 10 strikeouts against the Milwaukee Brewers as Bautista lines one foul down the left field line. How about that grab too? My goodness. A good catch probability for that boy there. This is Bautista out to right field. Anderson, a few steps in front of the track, will make the catch. And it's a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning for Caleb Smith. But the Marlins down a run. Game set against Atlanta. For just $20, you'll get a Life t-shirt and ticket. Join us Friday, May 11th for the free Life t-shirt game. 3 packs are also available, and unlock a bonus 4th t-shirt. Visit marlins.com/offers today. Strike one to Justin Bohr to lead things off for the Marlins here in the 4th inning. Bohr, Anderson, and Dietrich 2 up against Mike Foltynewicz, who has surrendered 2 hits to this point. He has 1 walk and 4 strikeouts.
Justin Bohr's first at bat came with a runner on third base. No surprise. Foltynewicz wanted no part of Justin Bohr. Huge numbers against him in his career. A couple of home runs. I think he might challenge him a little bit more this at bat. So far, that is not what we have seen.
Well, earlier I mentioned the names that Caleb Smith is connected with in terms of the strikeout percentage. Bohr takes a called strike 3 and 2. How about the names that Foltynewicz is linked to when it comes to average fastball this year? He's 4th in the big leagues. Bohr sends one out to right center field, shallow right center field. Albies for the first out. Todd told you about that fastball being a big part of his game. Well, only Luis Severino at 97.8. Noah Syndergaard at 97.4. And Shohei Ohtani, you know, the DH, 97.3.
The position player.
That's right. So he's at 96.2 on average for that fastball. There's Brian Anderson now. Takes outside. Anderson flew out to right field back in the 1st inning. Left over a couple of steps for Acuna Jr., and there are 2 away. And now a message from FPL.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth, Craig Minervini back with you. First of 4, Braves and Marlins. Derek Dietrich with nobody on and 2 out. Grounded out to second in the 2nd. Takes a strike here in the 4th.
Dietrich 4 for 16 in his career against Foltynewicz. Does have a home run.
Narrowly missed, adding to the growing list of hit by pitches for Derek Dietrich.
Throws too hard. I actually think that's what went through his mind right there.
Yeah.
He's so good at doing it, kind of turning that front shoulder in, especially when he gets some velocity. But I think you feel 97 and 99 a little differently.
Right, yeah. He's already been hit 6 times this year. That's 3rd most in the National League. 78 tops in club history as he fouls that one back. Still 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes to Dietrich. Right back up the middle, and there is Camargo. Not sure if it got a piece of Foltynewicz or not, but either way, Dietrich is retired. A 1-2-3-4. Clinic, stiff joints, aches and pains. Trust Cleveland Clinic, Florida, the #1 orthopedic care in Florida. And by Simply Healthcare, live the simple life. And by La Lechonera, the original mojo since 1970. Nice night here in Miami. Beautiful weather in South Florida. Braves, though, with a 1-0 lead as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Johan Camargo, Mike Foltynewicz, and Ozzie Albies, 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Atlanta Braves. Talked about their high-powered offense. Caleb Smith has kept them in check to this point. Just 1 run scored on an RBI ground out back in the 2nd inning for Jose Bautista. He's given up 4 hits. He's also struck out 5. The only walk intentional to this man right here, who fouls it right back.
Camargo, you had mentioned playing for Dansby Swanson, hitless over his last 14 at bats.
Well, as I'm sure the rest of the Braves are saying, he's 1 for his last 1.
Set that up too bad.
No, that's it. Trust me, I'm just, you know, I did it the other day too.
Must have hurt me. Got mad.
It was the Baez the other day that I got caught.
Yeah.
Because he takes a big swing. And I say, well, you know, that could go a long way if he connects.
That one coming.
And bang, you know. One on and nobody out here in the fifth. Foltynewicz squares. They'll check over there. Where do you stand as a broadcaster first, player second, on the play-by-play guy announcing a no-hitter, which there is not one tonight, but just the whole no-hitter jinx? Where?
Stop it.
No, I'm asking.
No, I'm not telling you to stop it. I mean, that's like, I don't believe in it. I'm telling you. Yeah, that's nonsense. You can say what you need.
Prado goes to second to get the lead runner, and Foltynewicz reaches safely.
Got to inform the fans. Hard bunt, nice defense. Another look. All right, everybody knows what's coming. The Atlanta Braves first in the National League in sacrifice bunts with 12, looking for number 13. Denied. Nice job, strong throw. Job by Martin Prado. Gets himself in line to make the strong throw to second base. Well done.
So here's Ozzie Albies. Settle in. First two at bats tell you anything, he might be at the plate for a little while. Fouls the first one back. He fouled off 4 pitches in his first AB, 7 in his second. That's the 20th pitch he's seen. He's 0 for 2. Guy's hitting just a shade under 280 on the season. Another foul ball. But quickly 0-2. Mentioned earlier the 22 extra base hits while he was, or has been rather, on a run from April 3rd on. Well, those 22 extra base hits, they set the franchise record for most extra base hits by the end of April, tied for the second most in Major League history. So a terrific start to the season for Ozzie Albies. Foltynewicz, the pitcher, the runner off of first. Ball and 2 strikes. .81 pitches to this point for Caleb Smith. Here's number 82. Out to center field. Brinson catches the line drive. 2 away. Let's go downstairs to Craig Minervini.
Well, one of the things the Braves have shown, besides all the things you've been talking about, hitting and getting on base, they have speed. And that helps them when they do get on base. You saw Acuna nearly beat out that infield ground ball last time. Look at their speed leaders. Acuna is 7th in the league in the Statcast feet per second, 29.8. The leader is Brian Buxton at 30.5. So he's right there, and you can see what the average is. But you look at their lineup, Albies is in the top 21 as well. Swanson, top 30, and these are little factors. Of course, the Marlins are aware of this. They go over the speed factor in the scouting reports, and that's why guys like Rojas know you better get rid of it quick. You're going to get these guys out on ground balls.
Yeah, they can pick them up and they can put them down.
27 stolen bases on the season. That's second in the National League. Ciarte has over half of them at 15. They can run. Go first to third. They can do a lot of things. This is why the Atlanta Braves conversation has accelerated this year at a rapid pace.
Again, the Braves started the day even with the Philadelphia Phillies atop the National League East.
Does not get cheated.
He struck out once today, straightened up there, 2-2. In fact, Atlanta mere percentage points ahead of Philadelphia. That's the difference in games. Phillies, by the way, have already won today. They beat the San Francisco Giants this afternoon 6-3. Strikeouts in 6 innings of work for Vincent Velasquez. Payoff pitch. It's fouled away. Braves, if this keeps up for 4 games, they might get a bill to get some more baseballs here. I mean, my goodness, they are fouling a lot of them off.
Fans aren't disappointed. He likes a foul ball. It's all good.
That one low, and it's first and second. First non-intentional walk for Smith today. Here's Freddie Freeman, couple of base hits for him. One to right center field. It was cut off by Brian Anderson before Freeman could head to second. The other one right back up the middle.
Both pitches out over the plate away. Talking about Freddie Freeman wanting to get his arms extended. Let's see if Caleb Smith can't stay inside. Pretty good example of what you're trying to do. Certainly the willingness to even go in there as well. That changeup is yanked foul.
Well, to varying degrees, but is it something that National League first basemen have to do? I mean, we just saw Votto, we just saw Rizzo. Both guys choke up. Freeman's doing the same thing. This is Castro in shallow right, and safe at first.
Now, fantastic play by Starlin Castro. I know that he does not get the out at first base, but again, keeps the run from scoring by not allowing this ball to continue on its way into the outfield. Really gets him at first base. Looks like Freddie Freeman beats it. David's no chance at scoring. Had to stop at third.
Clearly safe, and the bases are now loaded. For Nick Markakis. Markakis singled and scored in the second. Had a base hit taken away in the third. A nice diving catch in center field, left center field for Lewis Brinson. Three career grand slams for Nick Markakis. He'll test Brinson again, left center, and that one is out number 3. A long way into the gap, no problem for Brinson. In the inning, no problem for Caleb Smith. top of the 5th inning. Marlins got to get some runs on the board. Geico presents this day in Marlins history. They got some runs on the board by Josh Willingham, ending a 2-hour and 3-minute marathon? I don't know. What do you call that? It's a quick game. It's definitely not a marathon. I was being facetious. A 3-run walk-off home run on May 10th, 2007. A little over 2 hours for a big league game. My goodness. Not a lot of runs scored in that one, and not a lot of runs scored in this one. Just the one against Caleb Smith.
I'll tell you what, Caleb has been brilliant again tonight. Take all things into consideration, everything that we talked about going up against the toughest lineup against a left-handed starter this year. One thing that has driven that pitch count up, though, Albies and Acuna, my goodness, they have seen 40 of the 93 pitches that Caleb has thrown tonight.
Wow. My goodness. That is a big percentage. Miguel Rojas, Lewis Brinson, and Caleb Smith due up in the last of the 5th for Miami. Rojas grounded out to shortstop in his first AB. He lines this one into the seats.
Done a nice job tonight. Caleb dialing up the low zone a few times. We've seen the slider in the first inning, picking Freddie Freeman off. Freddie Freeman, 3 hits. He's been the offensive star for the Braves, but Caleb Smith has been brilliant once again.
A 1-2 pitch to Rojas. Sent out to center field. Inciarte is back. And there is one away. Steps Lewis Brinson, one of the 4 strikeout victims tonight for Fultonavich. His last start, mentioned that one, they lost to the Giants. 6 runs, 9 hits. They were both season highs. All 6 of the runs scored in the 2nd inning. He said afterwards that he was just having some trouble with his fastball command. Never truly found a consistent feel for his slider. I don't think the same can be said tonight, as he's right at about 80% strikes with the 4-seamer. And that slider is fouled back to the screen. That's just 67 pitches with 1 out here in the 5th inning. Protecting a 1-0 lead for the Braves. Inside to Brinson. It's all kinds of spun around. 2-1. One pitch will be the 70th of the game for Fultonavich, and it's a called strike to Brinson. Last year, the first full season in the major leagues for Fultonavich. Arguably his best start was the night he took a no-hitter into the 9th inning. Oakland in June, as Brinson fouls that one away, still 3-2.
Watch his arm, you certainly see why the Atlanta Braves have stayed with him through the bumps and bruises you take early on in a starter's career.
Chopped to short. On the run, Camargo in the dirt, and Freeman couldn't dig it out. Brinson's aboard with 1 out.
Camargo has to hurry the throw. Throws on the run. Short hop to Freeman at first base. Brinson hustling down the line. You see it. This is going to be an E on Camargo.
Now it's Caleb Smith. Struck out in the third. Squares to bunt. Trying to move Brinson into scoring position. Lays this one down. Freeman looks at second. Flicks it over to Albies. The sacrifice works. Brinson into scoring position.
A nice job by Caleb Smith getting the bat out early. Ball down and getting a runner into scoring position. Freeman thought about second.
We'll see what the Marlins can do with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Here's JT Realmuto.
Both runners in scoring position tonight for the Marlins, courtesy of errors by the Braves.
Ball and a strike to Realmuto. Singled in the first and struck out in the third. One of 4 strikeouts tonight for Mike Foltynewicz. Didn't budge. 2-1. Outfield, at least in center, Inciarte a couple of steps toward right center field against Realmuto. Good speed for Brinson. Of course, with 2 outs, he'll be running on contact. And here's a 2-2 pitch in the dirt. 3-2. Good takes by JT Realmuto. And after with a couple of tough sliders, JT laid off 2 of them. They did not swing. Ball 4. Suzuki wanted Rob Drake to check. See how close it actually was.
Now another slider. Close at all.
I agree. So now 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning for Martin Prado, who got a base hit his last time.
Prado with that base hit broke out of an 0 for 19. It's the longest hitless drought of his career. All the way back to 2014 to find it.
Prado, a former Atlanta Brave, trying to do some damage against one of his former clubs. Was with the Braves from 06 through 2012. Arizona in 13 and 14. The Yankees as well in 2014 before finally coming back, or coming here to Miami. .295 hitter in 683 games with Atlanta. Now a hitter's count 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes.
He racked up 752 hits. Atlanta Brave. Opportunity here now. Foltynewicz, who's shown some vulnerability here in the bottom of the 5th. Man has gotten away from him a bit.
The inning started with Miguel Rojas flying out to center field. Lewis Brinson with a chopper to short. Camargo threw low to Freeman. So Brinson reached on an error. Moved to second on the sacrifice bunt. And Real Muto just walked. A base hit into right field. Brinson around third. He's going to score. Bobbled in right by Markakis. An RBI single for Martin Prado. We're tied in the 5th.
Now that's how you take advantage of errors. Nice job by the Marlins. Great at bat by Martin Prado. The extra base runner. Brinson scores. A couple of outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Martin Prado has had some of the best at bats tonight. Both times going to right field. Stays ahead in the count, gets the fastball, drives it the other way. Pretty swing from Martin.
So first and third, and still 2 outs. This has been the hardest worked inning for Fultonavich. 23 pitches, and the go-ahead run still 90 feet away. So back-to-back hits in back-to-back at-bats, I suppose, for Martin Prado, both the other way. And now Starlin Castro. Called strike. Castro 0 for 2. The hit for Prado will improve the Marlins' average with runners in scoring position in 2 outs. This one popped up, and Freeman puts it away. But Martin Prado ties it on a base hit to right field. He brings home Lewis Brinson. 1-1 through 5. Stop out to Philadelphia this afternoon. How about Vincent Velasquez? When this guy gets going, he can rack up the strikeouts, and he did that today against the San Francisco Giants. 12, count them, 12 strikeouts in 6 innings pitched. He picked up his 3rd win of the season. Philadelphia Phillies with a 6-3 win over the San Francisco Giants this afternoon. So the Phillies hot on the heels of the Atlanta Braves right now. Time for our Toyota Inside Look. You go back to 2014, 74 days in first place. Who was their skipper? Of course, it's Freddie Gonzalez, Marlins third base coach. 10 days in first place in 2015. Then, of course, some lean years in Atlanta, but already 9 days in first place in 2018. And if the Marlins can win this ball game, the Phillies would leapfrog Atlanta atop the East. Still time to figure that out, however, as we are tied at 1 going to the top of the 6th. Kurt Suzuki, Ender Inciarte, and Jose Bautista due up here in the 6th against Caleb Smith.
For Suzuki, as he steps in for his 3rd at bat, he's walked away 2 previous at bats, shaking his head. A Caleb Smith has gone at Suzuki all night long. He's used the changeup, the slider. He's backed it up with a good fastball. And Suzuki, who came in hot, really has extended this Atlanta lineup. With a strong April, early May, has really had a rough go of it tonight.
This one to Prado. High throw, and Bohr got the tag. Bohr had to go up and get it, applied the tag to Suzuki. Although Brian Snitker and his coaching staff may want to take another peek.
Now Martin Prado backs up just a couple steps to get the big hop. I throw across the diamond. Bohr up off of first base. I think he got him.
And so do the Braves, as they will not challenge. That one goes down as a 5-3 as this first pitch to Inciarte is line foul.
Nice play by the big guy, JB at first base.
I know we've had this discussion before, and I always find it funny when, you know, whoever it is, a third baseman or an outfielder or whatever, switching positions so you get somebody else in said spot. So you just stick that guy at first base. Just stick him over there. He'll be fine. You know how many plays, I know you know, but you know how many plays go through first base?
Almost all of them.
You can't hide someone at first.
Soft spot, isn't it?
It is.
Did you play first base in high school?
I did. Perry Hill will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, I see you. You go down and talk to Perry about it every day. He's got some knowledge for you.
Perry.
One of the best in the business.
I'm just hoping next spring I get to go out to the boneyard in Jupiter. Take some ground balls on a slow day. Base hit for Inciarte with one out here in the 6th inning.
Second hit of the ball game for Inciarte. Rough few ball games. Able to put multi-hit efforts back to back. Have to be careful with Inciarte at first base. Mentioned it already. 15 stolen bases on the season. He is 8 for his last 8.
This is pitch number 102. Well, not yet, but it will be pitch number 102 from Caleb Smith. That's why you saw Drew Steckenrider up in the bullpen for the Marlins. Season high right now as Tim Wallach is going to go out and perhaps lift. Yes. Lift Caleb Smith after 101, a new season high for him. As the Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. Drew Steckenrider to try to keep this game 1-1 in the 6th. Smith, the line not yet complete, but 5 1/3, 7 hits, couple of walks and 5 strikeouts. 101 pitches, 71 for strikes. He gives way to Drew Steckenrider. pitching in this his 18th game. A 161 opponent batting average, an ERA a little over 1.
Very nice job tonight by Caleb Smith, keeping the Atlanta Braves in check.
Steckenrider to Bautista, a called strike. Bautista drove in the lone Braves run, an RBI ground out back in the 2nd. Also flew out to Brian Anderson in right in the 4th.
Of 17 appearances this season have been scoreless. He's dominated the right-handed hitters. Already he's hitting .121 against Steckenrider.
Well, not just scoreless, but hitless. His last 3 outings have been hitless. 5 of his last 6 have been hitless. And even though Caleb Smith only got through 5 1/3, what he does do is get the game into the 6th inning for this bullpen. For Steckenrider, for Bearclaw, for Guerrero, for Ziegler. And that's what, as the runner goes, throw down to second is not in time. Stolen base for Ender Inciarte. Tied for the major league lead with 15 steals. That's number 16, and into scoring position with 1 out in the 6th.
He's been in a good groove, getting good jumps. Certainly gets one on Steckenrider about 4 steps before the ball is out of his hand. JT certainly makes it close at second. Ciarte picking place to go.
And now a 3-1 to Bautista, 3-2.
Oh, mano a mano from Steckenrider and Bautista, 95 mile an hour.
Just to finish that point about the starters, Harlan Garcia only went 4 on Monday. Urania 5 1/3 Tuesday, but 3 innings for Wei-Yin Chen. So they have asked the Marlins, that is, a lot out of their either long relievers or arms in the pen, as Bautista fouls it off. Tyler Cloyd throw 3 innings to try to chew up some of the game on Monday night in Chicago. Randy Gonzalez pitched the last 3 innings yesterday. Bautista, a high pop-up. Foul ground, Prado for out number 2.
Stolen base, at least avoid Camargo if you so choose.
And they do, as Preston Tucker has moved into the on-deck circle. Second time tonight that Camargo has been intentionally walked.
What you do is you force Foltynewicz out of the ballgame.
Tucker will come in 4 for 12 as a pinch hitter this season. Started 0 for 4, but has hits in 4 of his last 8. Check that, 4 for 11.
Lot of pinch hit opportunities for the Atlanta Braves. They do carry the short bench, like many do in today's game. Only 4 guys on the bench. Tucker's done a nice job. 4 for 11, best on the team
Inciarte dances off of second, and that one misses. 2 balls and no strikes. Inciarte at second, Camargo at first. The pinch hitter Preston Tucker. We'll see a 2-0 from Drew Steckenrider. Inciarte is very active over there at second base.
Prado playing way off in third. JT Realmuto would have a clean shot at him with Tucker in the box.
Three balls and no strikes. By the way, the steal for Inciarte broke the tie with D. Gordon. The most steals in Major League Baseball. And a 4-pitch walk has loaded the bases here in the 6th.
Back-to-back walks for Steckenrider, 1 intentional, 1 unintentional. He's been locked in coming into tonight. Past 7 games, no walks, 10 strikeouts.
So now Ozzie Albies flips around to the left side after hitting right-handed against Caleb Smith the first 3 at-bats. And he takes ball 1.
With that pitch, Albies has now seen 25 pitches tonight. He's got little blue marks all over his bat from all the foul balls, 14 of them. What am I talking about? A lot of times that little insignia, official Major League Baseball, it comes off, it'll mark your bat. I'm sure he's got a few. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Well done.
Might have all of Commissioner Manfred's signature on there after all
what
these
it is.
foul balls. Jeez.
Right. See how it goes.
Albies struck out looking in the first, flew out in the third, and lined out to Brinson in center in the 5th. See a 1-0 after a meeting on the mound, and there's a strike. Last time Steckenrider pitched was a couple of days ago in Chicago in that 1-run loss to the Cubs. Albies lines one right field. Anderson back, and that one is gone. It's a grand slam for Ozzie Albies, and the Braves have taken a 5-1 lead.
11th home run on the season for Albies. Well, Steckenrider's fastball command not here tonight, not where he wants it. Went to a secondary pitch. I believe it was the changeup. Leaves it up just enough. Check that. That's the slider. Kind of moved like the like the changeup. Didn't have any depth to it. Kind of hung out over the plate. Not his fastball.
And now Acuna Jr. with a base hit up the middle.
First career grand slam for Albies.
We noted the first inning numbers for Albies. I think as it turns out, he's just a good player.
He can do a lot of things from both sides of the plate, no doubt.
It's the Florida Lottery in-game jackpot, the first career grand slam for Ozzie Albies, as it gives the Braves a 5-1 lead here in the 6th inning. One of those runs charged to Caleb Smith, so now his line is complete. And Freeman connects deep right. That was gone. Two-run home run for Freeman. And it's 7-1.
Well, on his 6th home run of the season, Freddie Freeman records his 10th career 4-hit game. 3 hits against Caleb Smith. 2-run home run against Drew Steckenrider. No doubter as Freeman heads out of the box. He's got it. On the span of 3 pitches, this has gotten a little bit out of hand. The Braves able to put 6 runs on the board in about 30 seconds.
Grand slam for Albies and the 2-run home run for Freddie Freeman. A 6-run 6th for Atlanta. Oh, big swing there by Markakis, fouls it straight back. So now Nick Whitgren begins to loosen. Steckenrider has been so effective out of the pen for the Marlins. A 1.08 ERA coming in.
As we mentioned, 6 runs on 3 pitches, Paul. It's almost as if the Atlanta Braves jumped as soon as they felt Steckenrider was going to come at him. We talked about the couple of walks, kind of brought him back into the strike zone. Albies jumps Acuna Jr. Next pitch, base hit up the middle. Next pitch after that, Freddie Freeman goes deep.
Now Markakis, foul. I remember you saying in the Bautista at bat, he's going mano-a-mano. I mean, is that something that they just picked up on when he came in the ball game? Like, hey, he's going to come right at us. Let's be ready.
Well, sometimes you come out of the bullpen and you don't have your good secondary pitches, and I really think that might be the case tonight. The Albies home run came on a slider. In fact, I was fooled by it because it actually looked like his changeup with the velocity, but his slider didn't move much. But you look at how the sequencing has gone tonight for Steckenrider, it's been an awful lot of fastballs. You have seen really no sliders.
Well, Freeman came in with a slugging percentage of .576 over his last 16 games. 3 singles and a home run. Markakis takes upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, we talked about this high-powered Braves offense, that it's so quick strike, right? That in the first inning they lead baseball 36 runs. It's not just the first inning. They can come at you quick. As that one up the middle, a base hit for Markakis. His 2nd hit.
Well, the Atlanta Braves have batted around here in the 6th inning. As Tim Wallach makes his way to the mound. Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. Steckenrider just did not have it tonight.
for them, a grand slam, a 2-run home run. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Don't miss your chance to play for the massive Powerball jackpot. Pick your lucky numbers and get your Powerball ticket at any Florida Lottery retailer. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Third Marlins pitcher of this inning. Caleb Smith started. He got the first out. Drew Steckenrider came in. Gave up the grand slam to Ozzie Albies and the 2-run home run to Freddie Freeman. And now Nick Whitgren comes in to pitch in his 10th game. Get an ERA under 1 since being recalled from New Orleans.
He's had a lot of run over his last 6 games at 6 2/3 innings. Whitgren has been outstanding. Good fastball, good command. The breaking ball, the curveball, and the changeup as well. Getting back to Steckenrider, 25 pitches tonight. 22 fastballs. Paul, you can't fall into that type of predictability, especially at the top of this Atlanta lineup. 88% fastballs from Steckenrider tonight. You mentioned that the slider really wasn't there. He certainly didn't trust it tonight.
So now Whitgren comes in with Markakis at first. Markakis belongs to Steckenrider. And the 2-0 to Kurt Suzuki misses outside. 3-0. Suzuki 0 for 3 tonight. Couple of strikeouts. And a ground ball earlier in this 6th inning. He is the 10th man to bat here in the 6th for Atlanta. That's inside. I don't even know how much of this is a quote Marlins thing tonight as much as it is a Braves thing, because they have won 7 consecutive games on the road. They outscored Philadelphia, the Mets, the Rays 41-6 during that 7-game run, and now they are outscoring the Marlins 7-1. A strike to Ender Inciarte, who's got a couple of hits tonight. A double back in the 2nd. He singled, stole a base, and scored earlier in this inning. Just off the edge, a ball and a strike. Out to left field, down the line. Dietrich, a long run. He slides, but he can't make the catch.
Now, Dietrich did everything right in pursuit of the baseball. Certainly want to get down to your legs, try to make the catch. As he runs out of space.
Be a 1-2 pitch to Inciarte. Fights that one off. Another look at the Ozzie Albies grand slam. Looking at the numbers via StatCast. 97.5 off the bat. A low line drive, but he will certainly take it. Inciarte to right field. Anderson gets spun around. That one's going to bounce over the wall. You know, that's a book rule double, right? Not a ground rule double. While we're teaching the game. Did you know that? Yeah, there's a difference. Because it's not a ground rule that plays into it. It's the book rule that if the ball bounces over the wall, it's an automatic double.
It's a double.
It's a double. A ground rule double would mean if there's something of the ballpark comes into play. Just thought now is the time to point that out.
Appreciate it.
Hey, anytime, pal. That's what I'm here for. It's an RBI, 2-base hit, no matter what you call it, for Inciarte.
Well, I appreciate the knowledge, but your timing's awful. Not really enjoying the 7-run Braves 6th inning.
Hey, listen, did I put a smile on your face?
You did.
Then I win. Okay,
All right.
that's all. It's my only goal. Make you chuckle.
Well, Marlins are trying to find their way through the remaining innings here and get something going on offense.
Chop to short. Rojas to retire Bautista. But a big inning for the Atlanta Braves. They put 7 runs on the board, a grand slam, and a 2-run homer. An 8-1 lead for the Braves. A grand slam by the man on the right, Ozzie Albies. A 2-run home run by the man on the left, Freddie Freeman. All part of that 7-run 6th inning. The Lincoln Spring Sales Event, Drive into Spring in a new Lincoln. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Work to be done here for the Marlins as Ryan Flaherty takes over at third base. So the day is done for Jose Bautista. And it's all part of a double switch as Sam Freeman comes into the game and delivers a first pitch strike to Justin Bour. The numbers on Sam Freeman out of the Braves pen.
Well, Sam's got a good arm. 92 to 95 on the fastball. What really stands out is he's not allowed to hit to a left-handed batter yet this season. We will get 2 lefties. As it stands now in Bour and Dietrich.
With a little Brian Anderson mixed in. Bour tonight walked in the first and popped up in the fourth.
Nice job fighting the breaking ball off by JB. Now this is as much for tonight as it is for the remaining games in this series and throughout the season. The Braves relievers have been good for the most part. They've had one issue. They walk batters, 83 of them. That is most in Major League Baseball. Of those 83, 21 have come around to score. That's nearly 25%, actually just over 25%. Do a pretty good job of keeping the ball in the yard, though. Only 7 home runs allowed. That is the fewest by a bullpen in Major League Baseball.
Freeman gets the strikeout there. That is out number 1 here in the 6th inning. Well, Star Wars Night is returning to Marlins Park on Saturday, May 12th, when the Marlins take on the Braves. Purchase a ticket package and receive an exclusive Star Wars Millennium Falcon hat. Fans who arrive early can also get a limited edition Star Wars Night poster while supplies last. Plus, stick around after the game for a special fireworks show. Visit marlins.com/Star Wars today. There's Brian Anderson taking low for ball 1. And these right here. Hi, folks. Hi, Paul, Todd. These are the hats that you'll be getting with that special offer that we just read about. A little Marlins logo on the side. I'm told that's the Millennium Falcon on the brim of the cap.
It is. Now the question that I have for you,
yes sir,
in deciding whether you're new school or old school. Now you and I, we have a few years in between us. Now I would take this hat, this fantastic Star Wars hat, kind of bend these edges down a little bit, give a little curvature to the thing, you know, decide wear it proudly at the ball game. Now, are you a new school guy? Would you just flat rim me?
I'm
would
not
you just
no, not a flat
bam, put that up there like that?
No, I'm not gonna put it on because I don't want to mess up my hair. But I would definitely roll it as well. That's what I would do.
Good to know.
Yeah,
That's right.
So that's coming up Friday. Hot smash over to third. Flaherty just in the game. Throws across the diamond to retire Anderson. 2 outs in the 6th. Ticketed for the corner.
No, I'll tell you what. PA Brian Anderson's had a nice night with the bat. Look at the box score. It says 0 for 3. Well, his first bat was frustrating. He lined out his last time up, an absolute rocket to left. And this a rocket as well. One hop. Flaherty across the diamond, so 2 good at bats where he has hit the ball hard.
Freeman on the short hop, 2 away, and Derek Dietrich swings and misses. Dietrich 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 1 in his career against Sam Freeman. That one a strikeout. Well, I think when we look back at this game, as we 5 days from now, we look back and we prep ourselves for Caleb Smith. Well, that'll give us something to talk about in the next half inning. Grounded back to the mound, 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. Off to the 7th at Marlins Park with the Braves in control. Marlins Park. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Cameron Maven takes over in left field. So the day is done for Derek Dietrich as we get our first look at Eliezer Hernandez. Back from rehab, reinstated from the 10-day disabled list today. A Rule 5 pick from the Houston Astros in 2017. He was very close to maybe making the opening day roster, but before the season began, placed on the 10-day DL with a tooth infection. Suffered during spring training, so he made one rehab start. Then he had a broken fingernail on April 9th. But here he is to make his major league debut.
Selected by Miami from Houston, the MLB Rule 5 draft in 2017.
Anderson puts away the line drive off the bat of Camargo. One away here in the 7th.
Very clean and fluid delivery. It's a good extension.
This is Ryan Flaherty with his first at-bat, again part of a double switch. So hitting in the number 9 spot and taking over at third base. We've already seen him make a very nice defensive play over at third, taking away a hit from Brian Anderson in the bottom of the 6th inning. And now a ground ball right side. Castro knocks it down, throws. Just try to get it to first. But it will be a hit for Flaherty.
Well, nice job getting to the baseball. Knocks it down, corrals. Throws blindly towards first base. JB really no shot. Coming up with the throw.
So back to the top of the order. And here is Ozzie Albies. Big blow back in the 6th inning. The inning when 12 Braves came to the plate, scored 7 runs, 6 hits. He had the grand slam that opened up what was then a 5-1 lead. Struck out back in the first, 1 of 5 for Caleb Smith tonight. And that's what I was saying is the previous half inning ended. When we go back and, 4 or 5 days from now, get set for Caleb Smith's next start. Popped up Rojas. You're going to look at the line score. You're going to see 5 in the 3rd, 7 hits, 2 runs. You're going to think, well, he kept the team in the game. When you assess Caleb Smith's start tonight, how would you grade it?
I think Caleb Smith did an outstanding job tonight. What the Atlanta Braves represent, how well they've played this year, how strong they've been offensively. Caleb did a nice job. It wasn't about his pitch count or where he was in the game. I mean, Albies, Acuna Jr., they wore him down a bit. They saw an awful lot of pitches. That's probably why his outing wasn't a little bit longer, but he did what he needed to do.
Season high 101 pitches as Acuna Jr. did shortstop, and it's Rojas to make the play. Wow, a slick play at short in the hole for Rojas to take away a hit from Acuna Jr.
Baseball. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. And Marlins home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download the MLB at Bat today.
New pitcher for the Braves, their third of the night, as Luis Gohara. This is his second season. He's made 5 starts in his career, but clearly coming out of the bullpen tonight. Recalled from AAA Gwinnett on the 8th. His first appearance of the season then. Opened the season on the DL, had a left ankle sprain. And he'll face Miguel Rojas, Lewis Brinson, and Cameron Maben as part of a double switch.
Gohara ranked by Baseball America as Atlanta's #2 prospect.
That is where their gold is, on the pitching side of things when it comes to their prospects. Not to say that Acuna was anything to sneeze at.
Or Albies.
Or Albies was anything to sneeze at in recent years, yeah. But that's what we've heard, is that the big picture of the Atlanta Braves is that, yes, they have a good farm system, but that a lot of that strength, as Rojas lines out, a lot of that strength is in the pitching staff. Now, whether that's Gohara or much further beyond, it seems as though there is a lot in the coffers when it comes to arms for Brian Snitker and the rest of the Atlanta Braves.
Well, it should create a complicated issue if they continue to play great baseball as the season goes on. I look forward to see how that plays itself out. Usually we talk young prospects, young pitching prospects. We start talking innings limits, and sometimes shutdown gets thrown in there every now and again. The question will be if the Atlanta Braves continue to throttle the way they have forward in this division, playing good baseball. Will they add? Will they trust the young guys, or will they just continue to move in that direction with the idea that some of these young players are going to have to get shut down just because of the innings limits? I'm assuming are probably on a few of them.
Brinson out to shallow right center field. Long run for Inciarte, but certainly makes it look easy out there, doesn't it? Time Gold Glove winner, and there are 2 away.
Well, let me ask you this question, and I think you'll answer what I'll just ask it. They've won 7 consecutive road games, right? They come in, you know, the score was 41-6. That's how they've outscored their opponents. What surprises you more, the 41 or the 6?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
See, I think the 6. The 6 is kind of what catches my attention, because
yes,
knowing the Braves in this division over the last few seasons, even with the addition of some great young arms, to hold the opposition on the road to 6 and 7 games, I mean, that's less than a run a day.
Correct.
That's outstanding. I mean, you have a chance to win those games whether you're scoring runs or not.
And they had a lengthy scoreless streak, right? That was snapped in the 8th
yesterday,
inning,
in fact,
I believe. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I would probably lean that way. The reason why I guess I'm shocked, not shocked, but have a tough time answering that, because 41 is a lot,
right,
in 7 games.
I get it.
But either way, they're doing what you need to do to win games. Right? I mean,
right.
Simply put, they're pitching and they're hitting. And they're doing a lot of both. Chuck Hernandez, their pitching coach.
Yeah, 34 consecutive road scoreless streak.
Looping liner to center field, and another hit for Cameron Maben. 2-out base hit for Cameron Maben on a day in which he opened up a nice present. A World Series ring was delivered to him today. Did you know that?
Picks on a hanging breaking ball and does a nice job fighting it off. Using the big part of the field. Talk about that an awful lot. That's the hits in center. Nice job there. That's a fun day. Sometimes you end up waiting when you're not with the team that wins, so much so I had to do the same thing. I was in Chicago. I was a Cub a year after winning the World Series here. Derek Lee and I had to, well, wait till opening day anyway.
Yeah.
To get our rings. Still a pretty proud moment.
A lot to smile about for Maben. He gets the ring today from winning a World Series with the Astros. He gets another hit, so now he's 13 of his last 46. And he posted on Instagram today that it's his wife's birthday. So, I mean, it's a big day. There's a lot going on in the world of Cameron Maybin. JT Realmuto has reached twice. He singled in the first and walked in the fifth. Swings over the top of that one, a ball and 2 strikes. I'm guessing the Maybin World Series ring will not be at the ballpark tomorrow. It will be in a safety deposit box or safe or something, but let's see if I can see that thing. Pictures? Looks like a watch, frankly. We're through 7, 8-1 Braves. Braves, on the strength of a 7-run 6th inning, have opened up an 8-1 lead as Eliezer Hernandez is out for his 2nd inning of work in this his major league debut. Caleb Smith went the first 5 1/3, 7 hits, couple of runs. Drew Steckenrider, a 1/3 of an inning. He gave up the grand slam to Ozzie Albies and the 2-run home run to Freddie Freeman, so charged with 6 runs. And the see if we have to change this graphic or not. It's been a nice night for Freddie Freeman. 4 hits. We will.
Yeah, that is his first career 5-hit game. Yes.
He didn't even get me a chance to set the thing up.
He's been impatient tonight.
Yeah.
He's going to swing the bat. I think back to the home run, right? There's only 2 pitches after the Albies grand slam. Freeman has been ready to swing tonight. The minute he arrived. 5 hits.
4 singles and a 2-run home run. Here's Nick Markakis. Markakis tonight singled and scored back in the 2nd. He singled in the 6th. And he had another hit taken away by Lewis Brinson back in the 3rd. Take a look at ball 2, 2-0. Three-hit night for Ender Inciarte as well. So the Braves spreading the wealth tonight in terms of the hits in that lineup. 2-1. Well, here's the unfortunate part of it for Drew Steckenrider, who you'll agree with me is an enormous part of this Marlins bullpen. Someone who just wakes up tomorrow and looks at the numbers will see that he's got a 4.24 ERA. That does not tell the story of how good he has been for this team in 2018. He came in at 108. And that's the difference. 108 is actually the same number, right? Or 109, either one. It was close. Harlan Garcia's ERA before Harlan had a clunker the other night. But Harlan's got so many innings, his ERA went up to just south of 3.
Well, it's the life in the bullpen. I mean, next time he gets on the mound, you're going to hear me say 16 of his 18 appearances have been scoreless.
Right.
It certainly validates how great he's been, and certainly the importance he is, how important he is to this bullpen. Pitching meaningful innings. I mean, you look at the role that he fills, he is kind of the guy who's given the most trouble.
Castro with the long flip. And Marquez is able to beat it out on the back end.
Manager Don Mattingly, Tim Wallach tonight, in fact, saved Stecken rider Caleb Smith kind of near the end of his night. Needed some help getting out of that inning. He beats it to first base, not close.
So Marquez reaches for the 3rd time tonight, and that will bring up Kurt Suzuki. Did you ever catch at any level?
Catch?
Yeah, catch, like play catcher.
No.
Okay.
I'm left-handed, so.
Oh yeah, that would make it awfully difficult. Right. So, because I want to go.
I don't think I even ran across a left-handed catcher's glove till I was about 20.
Good point. No, because I want to go back to something that you said in, I believe it was the 3rd at bat that Suzuki was up. Right. He struck out the first 2 times. He's kind of a little grouchy with the strike zone.
Right.
But I just wonder how a catcher perceives the same strike zone as a catcher and as a hitter on a given night. And if he's so frustrated, because obviously he's got to play nice, for lack of a better term,
sure,
with the home plate umpire.
Well, I think even some of his frustration was centered around himself. I think that, you know, he was fooled on a couple of changeups, and you know, Caleb Smith just really went at him with the entire arsenal. You know, and we probably didn't do Suzuki really give him a fair trial. You know, we've talked an awful lot about the first 4 hitters in this Braves lineup tonight. It should have included Suzuki. He has been on a tear. He is lengthening this lineup up. He's done a very, very nice job behind the plate, and gets an awful lot of credit, obviously, for the pitching side of things, but he's been incredibly offensive this year. Now, point being, he was merely frustrated by the fact that Caleb Smith did a fantastic job of never really falling into a pattern to him. We saw the changeup, we saw the slider. We also saw the fastball, and the couple of times he walked off, I think it was because he was fooled.
He's down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes now to Eliezer Hernandez. And that one misses low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hernandez, a Rule 5 pick from the Astros this past winter. He made his professional debut with the Astros back in 2012 when he was 17 years old. Pitched in 12 games. He started 8 of them. Finished the season 1-4 with a 4.11 ERA. Pitches here in 2018 as a 23-year-old. Payoff pitch coming to Suzuki. Pops this one up, shallow center. That's Castro going back. Brinson coming in, and he will make the catch for out number 2. Hey, Marlins fans, be sure to tune in to Marlins Live, the pregame show before the next game, presented by your South Florida Honda dealers. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson have you covered. Cuban Heritage Celebration, a sit down with Freddie Gonzalez as well. It's all on the air at 6:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. Dan Straley gets the start for the Miami Marlins. Brandon McCarthy goes for the Braves in the second of a 4-game series. Going to see a lot of the Braves in the next couple of weeks. Ciarte misses 0-2. Again, a 4-game series here, an off day Monday. Dodgers come to town for 3, and then it's off on the road to Atlanta and to New York. So 7 games with the Braves in 10 or 11 days.
Now the Braves 11-8 versus the Marlins 2017.
Ciarte to left center field. Maben and Brinson. It will be Maben for out number 3. We go to the last of the 8th. Braves in front. On the strength of a 7-run 6th inning, Ozzie Albies off to a great start in 2018 with a grand slam. A 2-run home run by Freddie Freeman, who's got himself his first career 5-hit night. On a night where Tim Wallach is the skipper. Don Mattingly dealing with a death in the family, attending the funeral. So once again, our thoughts with the Mattingly family as Tim Wallach takes over for tonight. Brian Schneider, the bench coach. Marlins Live post-game show coming up after this one. Craig Minervini and Jeff Nelson will break it down. We'll take you around the minor leagues for the Marlins as Martin Prado takes a called strike. Prado, Castro, Bohr here in the 8th against Gohara, who is in his 2nd inning of work. Mike Fultonevich got the start. 5 innings, 3 hits. He gave up 1 unearned run. Walked a couple, struck out 4. Sam Freeman came in, worked a clean 6th. Struck out a batter, and now Gohara in his 2nd inning of work.
Prado, nice night tonight. Found the stroke, couple of quality base hits to right field.
Maybe 1 to left? No. Ronald Acuna Jr. able to track down the line drive, but a hard hit ball nonetheless.
That's 3 consecutive tonight. Fair to say Prado is finding his groove once again. That is 3 great swings tonight. Jr., my goodness. See the acceleration through the catch. You're right, that had a very good chance of being a hit. For about a half a second.
He can cover some ground out there. Out to center field. Ciarte is back and on the track is able to make the catch. And 2 outs here in the 8th.
A couple of loud outs from the top of the Marlins lineup here in the 8th. Well, Ciarte, nice job reading this off the bat. He's playing Castro just a shade towards the opposite field gap. So that drop step was to his right side. He never really had to change off of that. Able to catch it 2-3 steps before hitting the wall. Ciarte, a very good center fielder.
Twice a Gold Glover, once an All-Star last year. Outside of Justin Bohr. Walked in the first inning. Ciarte was part of that deal that netted the Braves Dansby Swanson a couple of years ago. Dansby Swanson, Aaron Blair for the Braves, for Shelby Miller and Gabe Spire. Again, Swanson on the disabled list right now with a wrist injury. Strike to Bohr. Sounds as though Swanson will be back early next week. If that's the case, we might see Swanson when we get to Atlanta. 4 walks for the second time tonight. Now a message from FPL.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth, Craig Minervini back with you here at Marlins Park. An 8-1 lead for the Braves. First of a 4-game set. Side to Brian Anderson, who could have had an extra base hit if not for a nice play at third base by Ryan Flaherty back in the 6th inning. Is 0 for 3 on the heels of a strong performance on the road trip when he was 7 for 22. Two 2-0 from Gohara is in there for a called strike. 3-1 with Bohr away from first. And chopped wide of the third base bag, 3-2.
That'll put JB in motion. Head start.
There will be 2 on and 2 out here in the 8th inning.
Very nice at bat.
Back-to-back walks. Marlins have 2 on. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard here, the Royals and Orioles are exchanging runs tonight. It's 11-6 as they play in the 9th inning. The Braves, again, entering play as Yadiel Rivera will pinch hit here in the 8th inning. Mentioned before, the Braves 36 first-inning runs, most in Major League Baseball all year. The Royals the other night put up 10 in the first inning against the Orioles. They scored another 4 in the first inning tonight, but it's the Orioles in front by 5.
Well, the Marlins undoubtedly going through a tough stretch. Off the Chicago. Remember, the Marlins had won 4 consecutive series before arriving in Chicago to play the Cubs in that 3-game set at Wrigley Field. The Cubs scored 31 runs in sweeping the 3-game series. Tonight, 8-1 Braves. Paul, it doesn't get any easier based on strength of schedule and remaining games. Record so far this season. The Marlins will play the toughest schedule the rest of the way. 126 games remaining, 103 versus teams at 500 or better. Talk about the life lessons that you learned, the bumps and the bruises. This will certainly be a year of tests.
Part of that, right, is the fact that this is the first game of the season series against the Braves, so there's still 19 against the Braves. Marlins don't see the Nationals again for a few weeks. There's still 19 with the Nationals. As Rivera strikes out swinging to end the 8th. We head to the 9th inning here at Marlins Park with the Braves in front. Sports Florida is brought to you by Kubota. For more information or to find a Kubota dealer near you, go to gokubota.com. By Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, in pursuit of your cure. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Nice night here in Miami. Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth. An 8-1 deficit right now for the Marlins as we move to the 9th inning. And Brad Ziegler will take over after a couple of crisp innings. 2 innings, 2 hits for Eliezer Hernandez in his big league debut. So here is Ziegler pitching for the 15th time in 2018. 4 for 4 in save ops. This, of course, not one, as Gohara will hit for himself. He takes a big swing and misses. 0-1.
That looks like he's taken batting practice before. That's a pretty good hack.
All right.
He's seen nothing like Brad Ziegler before, I can guarantee you that. Gohara 0 for 9 with 7 punch-outs.
Well, he's aggressive. He's gone out of the zone twice, as far as I can see.
Yeah, I'll probably go out of the zone one more time and strike out. There you go.
Look at that. That's something. I love your crystal ball.
Now Brad Ziegler's been throwing the ball very, very well of late. Last 4 appearances scoreless. Sinking fastball off the outside corner. Quite deliberate on Ziegler's part. Knowing that Gohara would stretch his strike zone. Lots of good tilt, good sink on the 83-mile-an-hour fastball. The changeup working, the slider back in business. He's looked very, very good. I know tonight is not a save opportunity for Brad. The next one will be an opportunity for number 100. Certainly a big moment for him in his career when that happens.
And the 1-1 Camargo floats outside. 2 balls and a strike. A couple of intentional walks tonight for Camargo as Ziegler just gets some work in. It was a start that the Marlins really kind of needed. A guy that they were looking forward to having on the mound, and Caleb Smith. He has been so good. He was good tonight. Struck out 5 and 5 1/3. Team that was swept by the Chicago Cubs over the weekend as Camargo hugs the third base line into left field, and a base hit in the 9th inning. Team that got swept by the Chicago Cubs a couple of days. Tyler Cloyd threw 3 innings out of the bullpen. Yesterday, Miranda Gonzalez threw 3 innings out of the bullpen. And the way that it was set up when Smith left the game, it was a tight ball game. It was a 1-1 game, in fact, when he left. But the Braves and their quick strike offense made the Marlins pay. There's Flaherty, high chopper, and there are 2 away. It happened quick in that inning. 7-run 6th inning. Ozzie Albies drove in 4 with this swing in the 6th.
Yeah, this is one of the few sliders that was actually thrown by Drew Steckenrider tonight. It didn't do much, stayed out over the plate, acted almost like a BP fastball. Albies didn't miss it. We talked it so much tonight. And a lot of times as a hitter, it plays into your at-bats later in a game, the war that he and Caleb Smith had going. Of course, Caleb Smith won all the wars, many battles maybe is what I should say, but fouling off all those pitches, you can't help but get into a rhythm. You see tonight, 1 for 5 with the grand slam. Foul off pitch after pitch after pitch. You're seeing an awful lot until you get something you can handle. And finally came across the slider, changed the course of this game.
A 1-1 on the way from Ziegler with Camargo on at second base. Through the hole on the right side. And Ron Washington going to send the runner. Camargo is in there safely. A strong throw from Anderson, but not in time. And it's 9-1 Atlanta.
Base hit to right field. Brian Anderson does a nice job of getting himself into position. Margo all the way around. Good one-hop throw into JT. He did everything right. He's got a good arm.
Only 5 RBIs tonight for Ozzie Albies as Ronald Acuna Jr. fouls one off down the right field line. 5 RBIs tonight for Albies. Gives him 29 on the season. Climbing up the leaderboard.
Albies saw a total of 30 pitches tonight, 15 foul balls.
Chopped up the middle. Rojas will step on the bag, get the force, and we go to the last of the 9th inning. 9-1. Marlins trailing by 8 as we go to the last of the 9th inning. 9-16-2. Oh, by the way, Mike Foltynewicz was pretty sharp tonight too. As we documented his lack of run support. Tonight was not that night, but he was good.
Well, I'll tell you, it came late. I think for the first 5 innings, Foltynewicz was saying to himself, again? Remember, Marlins able to tie up this game at 1. I think for Foltynewicz, step forward. Remember, his last start was his worst against the San Francisco Giants. His command and control was not where it needed to be. Tonight it was.
You want to have fun with stats?
Depends.
If Gohara finishes this inning, he gets a save.
It's pretty crazy. That'd be probably his first career, I'd imagine.
Because he would work the last 3 innings of a ball game. Now then there are those people who think the save means nothing. This one out to left center field, ranging over his Inciarte. Boy, does he close quickly. And Rojas is retired.
He certainly does, and I'd be willing to bet that either Inciarte or Acuna Jr. would have caught this. Acuna ends up peeling off. Watch Inciarte. Closing speed, lefty, his ball in the gap, calls him off. Yeah, you got to save the bullpen.
There's Lewis Brinson now. Brinson tonight reached on an error and came around to score back in the 5th. Brinson out to left center field, and that one is gone. His first home run here at Marlins Park. Lewis Brinson with a solo shot.
Swing on an elevated breaking ball. Line shot to the left center field wall. This pitch at the top of the zone, outer third. Snitching by Brinson. No doubter.
His 5th of the season. He had 3 in Milwaukee, he had 1 in Cincinnati, and that is his first here at Marlins Park. As Cameron Maben pops one up to right field. That's Markakis. The Marlins are down to their last out. To the top of the order for JT Realmuto. Taps that one foul at the plate. Realmuto had a base hit back in the 1st. And he walked in the 5th. Marlins down to their final strike in the opener of this 4-game series against the Atlanta Braves. This one is skied to the right side. Freeman in fair territory makes the play, and that's going to do it on a night where Freddie Freeman has 5 hits. The final out finds his glove. Ozzie Albies with a grand slam in this one and 5 RBIs. All Braves tonight in the opener of this 4-game set. Marlins Live post-game show coming up right after the break.